Hello everyone, this is Just a Dad. Today I'm going to do a coffee taste test with the Amazon brand Solimo dark to medium roast. So they sell this variety pack. You get 40 of the French, 30 of the dark, and 30 of the Colombian. They just kind of throw them all in there. To do my coffee taste test, I'll be using the Keurig Case Supreme Plus, Case Supreme, and the new Mr. Coffee Tin Cup Combo Brewer that also does K-Cups. So I purchased this off of Amazon. It's $30 for 100 K-Cups, so that's about 30 cents a piece. So I cut the K-Cups open. The French roast is really, really dark. And the coffee grounds almost seem a little finer than the rest. The dark roast seems like a pretty standard grind. And the Colombian looks kind of light. It's a medium roast. Now the dark roast is a dark roast. The French roast seems like a really, really dark roast. The K-Cups are nothing special. There's 2 tablespoons of coffee in a filter, so that's nice. But the bottom of the K-Cup, there's no indentation to kind of keep the filter away from the bottom of it. Some of your more expensive ones will put a disc filter in here, or a disc to keep the coffee filter away from the bottom. So kind of a pretty standard K-Cup. The box does say 100% Arabica coffee. I will be taste testing with it black, and also I'm going to add cream and sugar. I'm not a coffee taste expert by no means. I've got to add cream and sugar to kind of get away from the bitterness, but I will give it my best shot tasting it black and with cream and sugar. I like to brew my K-Cups on the 8-ounce setting, so let's put them in. I really like this Mr. Coffee. This one was just released. I did a bunch of videos on it today, and I really like it. So I'm going to start using it for my taste test. I thought it did a really good job. Again, I have them set on 8-ounce brew, 8-ounce brew, 8-ounce brew. Okay, so they all start brewing about the same time. The Colombian definitely looked a little weaker at first. The dark roast kind of looked the darkest. I was expecting the French roast to be the darkest. But these two are probably about the same. The Colombian definitely looks a little bit lighter. I've got my little baseball bat that I use for pointing. I got this when I went plane spotting at CVG, Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky International Airport. They were having an appreciation day and they gave us away. It was an ink pen. I took the ink pen out. But that's my little pointer, is my bat. That's also Amazon's hub for their airplanes. I took a bunch of pictures of the Amazon airplanes. Okay, they're all 3 done. Okay, so earlier I brewed and added cream and sugar. Let's start off with the 100% Colombian. So that's a very smooth cup of coffee with the cream and sugar. It definitely is a medium roast. It's not super dark. There might be a hint of sweetness to it, maybe a little flowery, nothing too... it definitely got a good flavor to it. Let's try the dark roast. So the dark roast tastes like a dark roast, but there's nothing extra. It just tastes like a dark cup of coffee, like a really black cup of coffee, if that makes any sense at all. Because sometimes I get them mixed up. I think a dark roast is a French roast, but French roast is dark roast. But this French roast has got a very, very French roast taste. Okay, so that reminds me of a Starbucks. A little bit of a burnt coffee bean taste to it. Definitely a French roast. I think if you like French roast, this would be a really good cup of coffee. I don't like French roast, but the French roasts I have tasted, this is probably the best one. It's definitely just a very different taste. I really like the dark taste. The dark roast seemed very basic. Nothing added, nothing extra. Just kind of a, I don't want to say plain, but more of just a coffee taste. Where the Colombian was It was very smooth. The Colombian was very smooth, but again, there was a hint of sweetness to it or something. Let's try them black. Okay, the French roast is very, tastes like a French roast, but not as bitter. That is surprising. The French roast is not as bitter. Dark roast. Dark roast is pretty bitter. Definitely tastes like a dark. That tastes like a standard cup of coffee. Nothing extra, nothing, you know. Yeah, see, the Colombian, when it's black, you get that there's something there. Whether it's not an earthy taste, but more of maybe a fruity or a flowery or a sweetness to it. But there's definitely something there. Man, that dark roast. I was expecting that to be too dark. I normally don't like dark roasts. I think some of the dark roasts I've tasted tend to be more of a French roast, and I'm just not onto a French roast taste yet. But this dark roast is a very basic coffee. I really like it. Not too dark. It's definitely not a medium roast, but it's definitely not a super dark roast. So I'm gonna say the dark roast was my favorite here. Followed by the Colombian and then the French roast. Again, I'm just not a French roast person yet. But that's definitely a very strong French roast taste. So this variety pack, I just did a video on the medium to light roast, the Kona breakfast blend and donut style. Check out that video. I really like the breakfast style. I was not expecting to like the breakfast style, but I did. So on this variety pack, I really liked the dark roast. It just tasted very, I don't want to say plain, but more like a standard cup of coffee. Like just coffee should taste. Nothing added, nothing extra. If you got any comments, leave them in the comments down below. I check my comments on a daily basis. If you've got any other taste tests you would like, leave them in the comments. I've gotten a lot of my video ideas from viewers leaving comments, and I appreciate all the help that everybody's been giving me. I recently surpassed 5,000 subscribers. Never dreamed I'd have 5,000 subscribers. But I'm on this coffee journey, and I'm just really enjoying it. I'm trying to help others. Coffee can be very intimidating at first, because if you try to sit down and drink a black cup of coffee, it is very bitter and can be very hard. You know, you see people drinking coffee black, and you're like, oh, it must taste great. They're just downing cup after cup. Well, when I tried, it just was so bitter. I was like, this doesn't taste very good. But I've added cream and sugar. I'm going to start getting away from the cream and sugar. I do want to get to where it's just black. I think it's a little better for you when you don't have the cream and sugar in it. But right now I do have to add it, and I'll be on that journey as we go. I will put a link to this in my description to the Amazon store. I am an Amazon affiliate. If you do click on the link, I do get a little bit of money from it. It helped defer the cost of when I buy these products. I don't have any products given to me. I purchase all my own products. I've never had a coffee maker, nothing given to me or sent to me for a trial or nothing. I buy them all. Some I buy off Facebook Marketplace, some I buy brand new. If you've got any ideas for coffee maker reviews, please leave them in the comments. Again, check out, I just did a bunch of videos on this Mr. Coffee, new in 2021. Very impressed with it. Usually Mr. Coffees I'm not that impressed with, but this one was very impressive. It might be my coffee maker of 2021. I definitely gave it a Just a Dad sticker seal of approval. Thanks everybody for your continued support, and if you could, please like and subscribe.